About time. It says that I'm live. So that's a good thing. Because I've been trying to get this to operate all day long. And it just kept buffering. But I was initially starting to talk about a few things that I had wanted to cover some topics on. And by the way, my name is Monica, aka Brave. I call myself Brave sometimes. And I know you're all thinking like, okay, well, it's a lot of these artists got people who call themselves names. It ain't like that. I've always had a Brave inside of me, and I just hadn't given her a name. So now that I gave her a name, I can distinguish Monica, my true self, from my other true self, which is Brave. Not being like anybody, but just being truthful that that's just the way that I am, and that's just who I am. So nip it in the bud. Of course, y'all know anything about biblical characters. That's the same thing that happened with Abraham. He went from being Abraham to being Abram. Sarah went from Sarah to being Sarai. Jacob went from being Jacob to being Israel. Esau went from Esau to being Edom, and so on, so forth. There are different people in the word who do and have become, they were the same person, but they had an internal battle with another side of them who ultimately deserved a name. Because you hear about how Jacob wrestled with God, and as you know, if you hear that song by Mary, she say it's the God in me, and sometimes the God in you can wrestle with the God in you, because sometimes you're not always at ease with the response or answer that God give you in your everyday life. And so that's some of the things that I bear and battle with each day. And what happened, is I'm a very shy person, but I went through a couple of things in a series of events that I felt like I should talk about. And I should talk about it because, we got the World Wide Web now, and everybody is open to listen to other people's opinions or other people's lifestyle and what other people deal with and go through without having to keep all the information flooded on the inside of themselves and end up trying to hurt themselves or, just angry because they don't have anybody to vent to. So what I'm doing is I'm just talking about it through live stream on YouTube. Well, basically, like when I was 15 years old, I used to have a lot of out-of-body experiences. I was 15 when I first realized that I was having an out-of-body experience and not a dream. So, I realized that I was having these experiences, right? And I used to get outside my body and I used to travel. It felt like I was in the skies, I wasn't just floating around like I was in one spot. And maybe when I first started, it probably felt like I was floating around in one spot. But to be honest, I believe that I was traveling and going to different constellations of the universe. And as I got older, gradually, I began to go to different universes. I just wasn't in one universe. I just wasn't confined to one area or anything. I began to travel in multiple dimensions and in different realms. And so that's something that I just realized that I was doing because I had not always known what I was doing. But there were a lot of times that I would sleep that I would see like the dark shadow figure people, and some of them and I used to be fighting with each other. So it's like I was sort of like a warrior princess in some sort of way. And I was, because I was fighting these other entities. And according to the word, they say in heaven as it is in earth. So I do believe that the entities or shadow people that I was going against in the spiritual plane, that in the physical plane, that I was some kind of how against that person as well. And it set up some type of display in my life to have to go to sleep with a certain anger or hatred or something towards that person, causing me to be able to have to fight and wrestle with them in the spirit realm. And I was so knowledgeable and so talented at it that I knew exactly what to do. And a lot of times when I would be on these assignments to fight these battles, it's like I was an angelic being, and I definitely am still an angelic being. And sometimes it seems confusing because the Bible say that we were made a little lower than the angels. So you know that you have a hierarchy going on. You got your archangels, your angels. You have giants who potentially are angels as well. But it's just, it take a lot more researching and stuff like that for a person like me, because I'm not like a fanatic. I'm not the best at what I'm talking about, but I don't really do a lot of research, but I just find out enough to know, okay, I'm true. What I'm saying is right about this, what I'm saying is right about that, and I just keep on about the business of living. Well, one day I was in a house also, and I was thinking about how an archangel might come into play or whatever. And when I thought about it, I was like, okay. I start thinking about the vertebrae and the three columns, the three main columns, the cervical, lumbar, and thoracic vertebrae, and then there are like 5 extra ones at the bottom in the sacrum area. So I counted all of them and I came up with the number 29. So I was like, okay, well, that's 29. I said, you could put a human being behind you. Y'all could be back to back. And if y'all back to back, then, one person have 46 chromosomes. I was like, if you get another person and put them back to back, that's 92, which is 29 backwards. And I was like, so that's how an archangel has to be made up like this, because, archangel must have to take 2 people. So that means if it's like 4 people, why, then it's, there has to be a different hierarchy than an archangel. If it's 4 different people, then that means it's, this caliber of angel or being, maybe, or God or whatever, And I don't know whichever one to call them, because you got Most High, you got Elohim, you got Eliam, it's different names. You got Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Shammah, Jehovah Shalom, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Rohi, Jehovah Rophe. It's just like Satan with Lucifer and Baal and, Balak and Baalim. You got all these different kind of names, and sometimes, unless you read and get a true understanding or a prophecy of who those people are, you really won't understand, But a lot of people who read and do get an understanding, I sure do applaud them, because I think it is very immaculate and amazing to study the word and learn all of these things about yourself, What interested me also is like how in the book of Revelations it said that we will be given a new name on our forehead. And I realized that the forehead is basically your frontal lobe, and on the side is your parietal and temporal lobe, and in the back is your occipital lobe. And when it speak about the beast with the 4 heads, off up in Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation, it says the 4 beasts that sat on the 4 corners of the earth. It's basically, I guess in Revelation, when it says 4 beasts, it's like they have separated the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe from the front, and this is just how God works, and I believe that that's what He did. But in the book of Daniel and Ezekiel, I definitely think when He says that one had the face of a man, the other had the face, the face of a man definitely had to be the frontal lobe, because each and every one of us, when we look at each other, we see our face of a man. But then, you go to sleep. I don't know if you ever go to sleep, you might feel your face kind of move a certain way or feel like it's shifting and stuff like that, because we have entered into an era where a paradigm shift took place. And so a lot of people becoming more and more receptive to the fact that we're not just humans. Not just humans alone. Matter of fact, they say that we have a somewhere up in the 90% reptilian DNA or something. And I can believe that, all because of the cervical, lumbar, and thoracic vertebrae all the way down to the sacrum. The sacrum part have 5 little small bones off up in there, which is the bottom part. And that's the bottom part of your that's your reptilian, your whole spinal vertebrae. And so that's something unique off up in there. And I actually wrote about it off up in this book one day, because I was off up in a real bad accident. And when I was in an accident, I would forget things. I had kept on forgetting a lot of important stuff. And I didn't want to forget things on a daily basis. And I just felt myself just going downward. I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have anything to concentrate on every day. It was just, I was getting in lots of contact with myself. And plus, with the paradigm shift taking place, the last thing I needed to do was to lose in touch with reality, being that that I had been off up in that car wreck. And it could have caused some more other damages. So, but it did. The car wreck did its job. It did what it was supposed to. I'm just grateful to be here, because it could have took me out if that was God's design and will for my life at that moment. I'm grateful and I'm glad that wasn't His will for His life. For my life. That He had more in store for me. And don't get me wrong, just because I'm here and somebody else not here, doesn't mean that I'm all of that or anything, because even though I'm here, I still do go through a lot of difficulties. I go through a very lot of things. I go through things like, when I go to the food stamp office, I can't get food stamps. When I go to the hospital, they don't want to give me medical care. When I go try to apply for a gold card, they sent the gold card, but I never seen the gold card. When I try to go get any type of help that they have out here to offer, when I try to go get housing, which was the last time I tried to get housing was about 2 years ago, they say, I had been calling every month. And then it came down to my number, and I called, and I didn't receive it. They ended up giving my spot to somebody else who they thought was more worthy. So I never had received most of these government assistances, and I see a lot of other girls getting their government assistance and having a house all nice and decked out for them and their children. And I'd be like, well, if I would have received housing, I would have been able to do this. Me and my kids would have had it going on. Our house would have been like this. I would have decked their room out. I would have had this going on and that going on. And plus, I wouldn't have that much worry and stress on me. So I wouldn't have to have been as sick as I have been, because I would have been able to I would have less worry on my back. So anyhow, I do get refused a lot of the things that goes on here. And I know it's a such thing as a galactic confederation, and I believe, with that being said, that it's to give your birth certificates and stuff, like, it's stamped and approved that I am in existence. But sometimes I go under the radar and it feels like I don't exist to anybody, you know what I mean? And that's just the truth. I had some people to come to my house one day, and they jumped out the car. And, I was just off up in my car just doing my little drugs and stuff. And they jumped out with badges and everything. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble. And this real talk. I'm not making it up. I'm not fabricating none of it. I'm just going to keep it real. If I'm going to tell you one thing, I'm going to tell you all of it. And but before I started doing drugs, I was also astral traveling and having out-of-body experiences. So it ain't a person in the world can, try to tell me, oh, maybe the THC or maybe this right here is altering this or that and that state of mind and all this kind of stuff. Because, it's definitely ineffective for a person to say that. So anyhow, I went through these. Dang, that little thing sat there in the same little spot for a minute and didn't move for a while. But anyhow, I don't get any of those assistances, but I'm supposed to be able to be granted something. I think that is cowardly of our system to deny me and my children of the right to have a lifestyle here. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we aliens. It's almost like we don't have citizenship here in the United States. And this is where me and my children are born at. So, something, I guess, was just taking place. And hopefully somewhere off up in the universe, something can come to a conclusion about all of the whole situation. Maybe it already has, and I'm still living in the past because I'm stuck in a paradigm shift some kind of how where, my body is some 10 light years away, but my mental frame is 5 years behind or something like that. But either way or whatever way, something's taking place that I don't fully understand. And I'm not a genius because, hey, I took academic classes all my life in school. I took a few advanced classes, but there was only at one all-black school. But at all the other classes in schools, I was an academic student, just like predominantly every other black person that's living in this world. And what's so funny about it is, this our homeland. You feel me? I tell people all the time, I have all kind of dreams. And the Bible say the truth will set you free. And I believe that. I have all kind of dreams. Not one time have I ever had no dream of coming over here on no damn ship or no boat. As far as I know, my mama, her mama, my great-great-grandparents, and all my ancestors, black ass was born right here in the United States. And this is our homeland. This is where we are from. We didn't come from Africa. So, I think I ought to set the record straight on that shit before anybody. You know how you know? Let them kick every black person off up in the United States. Let them put us in poverty. Let them push us to poverty and see that the earth and the atmosphere start acting up, if you think I'm lying. Watch that shit out there in the Gulf start forming bars and shit off up in the middle of and under the damn ocean. You'll see that this shit if it don't belong to us, it's gonna belong to somebody. And if it belong to somebody, what the fuck belong to us? Because I ain't giving shit away. I'm too goddamn poor to give something away. I need all mine. So, that's the important thing of it all. If you can't deal with that, then, you can't deal with nothing. You don't understand the truth about anything. So, I just one of those persons who believe in keeping it real and shit. I ain't never not one time. I might have a dream that I'm off up in that damn water, but if I'm off up in that fucking water or even anywhere near it, I'm catching some fish to cook me something to eat. That's how me and my ancestors do. We gonna catch us a catfish or something, and we gonna make us a little fire outside, and we gonna fry that fish. Because that's just how smart we have. We always been since the beginning of time and stuff, And that's one of the ways to put it. But like I say, a lot of people want to say our ancestors was beat and bought over here and all of this, and and then you listen to them, and then by the time you ask them several other questions, you'll be like, well, damn, that right there don't even coincide with what you just said 10 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no concrete evidence, and if you do have concrete evidence that was your ancestor must have an African accent and not a Moorish accent or anything of that region. How could they all just be African? You know what I mean? Are they all Nigerian? Are they all Africans? I mean, I don't have a single African person in my family. And that's just the That's just the honest truth about it. You know what I'm saying? And, the words say we destroy for lack of knowledge. And, even though I don't know everything, I don't know everything. And it's impossible to know everything. It's impossible for a person to know every single thing about everything. But you can know everything, a little something about everything. But like I was saying, where I find it wrong is where they won't make it accessible for each family to be able to live happy. And then the first thing that happened, they want to say, well, black men don't want to work. And I'll be like, well, shit, let's go back then. What kind of education did he get off up in school? Was he an academic student? Yes, he was an academic student. Well, then you didn't have no plans on him growing and getting to be nobody, because you told him out of his whole life that he was way up under the bottom. You taught him that he was at the bottom of the totem pole. You didn't want him to know that he's the first and not the last. So you hid that from him. So that's exactly who he think he is, because you tried to mold it in him. So it's up to him, because he know he can't trust the government system. So it's up to him to tap into who he is himself and pull his true identity out. And that's sort of what I'm going through. Even with my children, I always was going through that. But now that they adults, I'm still going through it. I'm still going through, well, why we just couldn't have this though? But why did I have to go to a job and then try to focus on getting a resident? Right now today, if I go somewhere, my broken lease is several years old. If I go somewhere to an apartment complex right now, they will not give me an apartment. Real talk. I'm not being negative, and I'm not being wrong about the situation. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm just telling you that every place that I go to, they straight up deny me. And I don't have no felonies on my background. That's the kidding part. I got misdemeanors on my background, more than one misdemeanor. But I don't think that should keep me from getting a place to stay, when people that have felonies be getting a place to stay. And some of them been done some of the heinous crimes. And even with my misdemeanors, I won't want to live in no apartments nowhere when nobody got no crime record anyways. Because shit, if they do the fool on me, I'm going to do the fool too. And I'm going to follow the Fifth Amendment, and I'm going to bear arms. Shit. Because you got a whole, you thinking because I got misdemeanors, it's okay for me to move over here with a fucking serial killer or a rapist. So I'm going to show out on your ass too. And so, it's practical common sense. But, it came down to a point off up in my life where I had went through something where I was off up in the house. And, I ain't never been a kind of person that got sick a lot. I always been a well person. You know what I'm saying? And even if I were to get sick, I never did claim any sickness. But there was some things that had happened to me that had not ever happened to me. And I had to get some immunizations when I was off up in college. And I think that was part of the reason that I had got sick. But then it was some other things going on too. Because I'm like, how you just going to try to force me to come to the hospital to try to do lab work? You know what I mean? You never done nothing for me since the whole time I've been here on this planet. But you trying to force me to do lab work? You know what I'm saying? And after that, some different little things have been going on off up in my life also. And, I just had wanted to kind of briefly cover that. But also, another thing is, like, I was thinking about how I be meditating a lot. I got so used to it to where I don't know how to stop meditating. It's almost like I breathe, eat, and sleep meditation. And it's times that I don't be wanting to do it. I don't be wanting to meditate, but it's so habitual nowadays to where that's all I do. And when I be wanting to sleep, that's the first thing that happens. As soon as I close my eyes, my conscious state of mind begin to start thinking, and it's like I'll think all the way until I go to sleep. And I think that's part of the reason why I start astral traveling. Mainly that I have a silver cord That silver cord is more than a silver cord. What I've been learning the last 2 years is some things that happen to me. And it's going to be some people that listen to me that's going to find it hard to believe. But if I say it, I promise you, I have no reason to lie about it. And I came outside one day, right, to walk to the store in my neighborhood, and I ain't see nobody outside other than cars driving by. And all of a sudden, I felt something hit me like with a whip, and it was hitting me on my back with the whip. You know, I could feel it, but I couldn't see the damn person doing it. So if you hear me say that shit, you've been to deem me insane. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I know somebody doing it, and I know they probably don't even know they doing it, or they probably do know they doing it, because they sure got some accuracy. If they don't know what they doing, if this shit is hitting me in my damn back, and I can feel it, and it's hurting. So I had went through that one day to where it had kept happening while I was walking. So I took off running. I was like, fuck that shit, hell no. You know what I mean? I ain't supposed to stand there and take no ass whooping from somebody I can't see. So I took off running. But when I think about it, I be so hurt sometimes when I think about it, to where all I could do is cry, because I be like, they literally did that shit. And I don't know who it is, but I be like, somebody was beating the fuck out of me with a damn bullwhip, and I couldn't even see them. Even if you think about intergalactic beings or aliens, shit, the last thing that you don't see them with no fucking bullwhip. You know what I'm saying? I know some of them don't know no damn better, but you don't see them with no bullwhip trying to beat you. You know, they want to try to get out. They want to telepathically communicate with you. They don't, you know, they want to know how it is, how life is here, if it's survival life here, because it's not much, it's probably not much survival life in certain places, or maybe it is. Maybe it's a whole lot, and they're trying to get us to take us to these places that are different from other than planet Earth. They probably be looking at us like it's so tumultuous here, and they've seen other places that's so much better. Let them take us. You know what I mean? Like silly stuff like that. You know, and then that's why I say they don't know no better. Some of them don't. Some of them got to be real intelligent, but some of them just don't know any better, you know. And I never forget, I was in the house at this particular time, and I mean, it was times I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to get the H up out of here. You know, I was sitting down, and I was like, one day I thought I was tripping because I was watching TV, and I heard somebody say, God said y'all trying to kill Monica. And it sounded like an alien. You know, the voice and the sound was sounding very different. You know what I mean? So I was sitting up there listening, and then they came back and they started saying other things, and I was like, ooh, wow. You know, I was like, but it seemed like it was coming from either my occipital lobe or my parietal lobe. It seemed like something had took course off up in one of my lobes, and it was causing me to hear the sound of the being on the inside of me seemed to have been very alien-like, whatever, you know. So could be like a little alien off up in my head, like on Men in Black, steering me and, you know, controlling which way my head turned, left, right, and the other. You know what I mean? But it was just, you know, I'm stating true facts. It was some stuff like that had happened, and I had never experienced that a day off up in my life. And then, you know, I was walking real slow one time. I had went to a shelter, right? I was walking real slow. I could barely walk. So one day the lady gonna come and tell me, she was a black lady, and she gonna come and tell me, well, maybe you need to go to such and such hospital. I was like, for what? You know, so this me discerning that she wanted me to go over there so they can try to get some lab work, and so that they could sit up there and freeze some of the, you know what I'm saying, and then try to give it to somebody else later on off up in life, because whatever it is, that certain particular type is a type that they did not have much of, and thought that they was gonna use me on it, you know. And so I didn't go when she told me, because she can't force me to go nowhere. And as far as I'm concerned, and to the best of my acknowledgement, they not supposed to force anybody to get any kind of Medical attention. See, this medical attention that they wanted me to get was to appease themselves. It wasn't to help me in any kind of way. They wanted to get what they wanted to get and to push me to the curb, you know. And that's basically what they did. Even with college, I went and got all those immunizations and I still didn't finish college. They had given me these different vaccines, and you don't know what the fuck they be injecting you with. Talking about they gonna inject you with the Hep B virus in order to cure the virus or to fight you know what I mean? To fight the virus and all that. And I'm like, nah, I'm just fine. You ain't got to give me nothing to fight nothing. Just let my body naturally fight it off, because if it was meant for me to have that, I'm going to have it. But to me at the same time, it ain't nothing but a dosage of something that they gave a name to, and I still render it powerless, helpless, and ineffective in the name of Jesus, regardless of what anybody say. So, all is well. That is said and done. And that's where I leave it. I leave it right where it's at, because it never did have any soil to be fertilized. And so the seed can't grow if it wasn't meant to be grown. And so if they try to get some lab work to try to give to somebody else, then, they don't have to deal with me when they do that kind of stuff, because my battle ain't with them. And the battle ain't mine once they take on that kind of course, because all throughout the Bible, you realize all that stuff that was going on that you're not supposed to do that to anybody anyhow. But they so greedy and so in need of trying to figure out how this person have a lifespan, or how the human lifespan works, and how these different people are existing in a planet like this, to where they be trying to do studies and stuff. And I'm not for it. I'm just not the person that's for all of that. I'm not just to let you guinea pig on me or doctor on me because I'm a dark-skinned person and you think that I'm not knowledgeable enough. So what I did was I started talking to all of the doctors like they were stupid, because they was treating me like I was stupid. They was treating me like, oh, we just gonna do this to do this. Now, you not doing it to do that. You doing that because you trying to do this, and I know that you trying to do this, and so I'm gonna put you in your place, and I'm gonna let you know. I started treating their ass like they was the patient and I was the doctor. How about that? I flipped that shit around and I told this one nurse girl, she was a black lady. I had her ass so pissed off. I was like, that's why you're a patient and you think you work here. I say, you think you work here, but you really is a patient. I say, that's why they just using you as they little flunky so that you can get all these people. I say, they got you under hypnosis. I say, go in the bathroom and look at your eyes. Your eyes look like they watered down. It look like you drowned off up in the Red Sea in the midst of them trying to depart it. You know what I mean? Like, I was really giving her a hard time because she was they damn flunky. You know what I'm saying? And she was just kept coming to my room like every 15 minutes. I was like, damn, what's off up in this room? Every time I would get a good night's sleep, she would just come like she was drawn to my room. I was like, bitch, I'm glad you ain't got to go home with me, because I know you smell that sleep, and I know that you can taste and see that the Lord is good. But I hope, by any chance, I hope that you don't ever get to see it. I hope that this be the best way and the closest way that you get to see it, because whatever you've done that you can't get that ain't my problem, and it'll never be my problem. And the same way that those spiritual battles goes on in the spiritual realm, baby, they still going on. It don't stop there. So when you mess with God's anointed, when you mess with his elect, he will put his angels on the assignment, and they will defeat every tactic that you ever try to use against his child. Trust and believe it. And, I can curse and tell you about the Bible at the same time. So, I've been through some kind of warfare. I ain't here just to look cute. I might be a pretty lady, but after all I've been through, honey, pretty is the last thing I'm looking at. Trust me, because you got pretty people who still pass away on a daily basis. You can be as cute as you want to be, and you can wake up and you not think nothing about it when you wake up. Because when I got sick, I felt it. You can wake up and thinking that your day gonna go well, and all of a sudden something happen or something just come over you and you gone. You know what I mean? In my case, it's different because God is truly just heartfelt have his light on me, and he obviously wasn't ready for me to go the many times that the enemy tried to take me out. So anyhow, I just wanted to share some of those details. I think I'll start another video tomorrow or another day or something like that to kind of finish touching on some topics and stuff that I would like to, and I would like to show y'all some drawings, but I just got off of work. It's still dark and I can't see that well on my phone, and y'all can't see me that well, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed night.